But it is a fascinating place to come to, and one of the main things that makes it so fascinating is that there's still so much mystery. Even with all of the information that is in that museum, there's still so much that's not known. And the biggest thing that is that's overarching over everything is just why. So
there's lots of theories, isn't there?
Lots of theories, like why. Good morning from London.
Good morning. Today is day 1 of 5. We are doing a Rabbies tour around Devon and Cornwall, and we're going on a premium 16-seater tour bus to go and see the English kind of countryside and coast.
So it's a 5-day trip, and there are so many things as of right now that we actually have no idea. We don't know what this coach or bus situation is going to be like. Apparently it's Mercedes, so that's a plus.
Sounds good.
We have no idea what the situation with a guide, with how long everything takes to get to, or how much sort of downtime we're going to have in between being on this bus and seeing the sights, if that makes sense. So we don't actually know how it's going to play out, which we're obviously going to be sharing along over the next 5 days as we sort of discover that. Is there anything else we're not sure about?
All of the things, but we're excited.
We're just excited. So there are 2 things that we do know. The first one is the main thing we're doing today is we're seeing Stonehenge, which I just never thought that we would get the opportunity to go and check out.
It's always fascinated me though. I hope I get answers to my questions.
So that's one of, I think, maybe 3 stops on today's trip as we head towards the coast. And the second thing that we do know is that Rabbies has challenged us to find the best stories, like the most interesting yarns that we can find.
So buckle up for some amazing story time. You know how we feel about story time.
Yeah, so if you've watched our channel before, you'd know that sometimes we do KBs, which are our knowledge bombs. Other times we do story times, which is just when we find history and we just try and find, not that in 19, it's
the fun stuff,
cool
the
stuff.
quirky stuff.
Yeah.
First stop this morning is going to be the beautiful historic Winchester. But before then, we are going to take as attractive a route as we can take through the beautiful city of London.
Only about an hour outside of London, and already we're blown away. People told us that England was beautiful.
Yeah, did not expect this. So today, Stonehenge might be the main attraction for the day, but already just leaving London, we picked up, we saw so much more than we already had. We learned so much history. So the bus is amazing.
Yeah, the driver...
It's not a bus, it's like a premium minivan situation.
Yeah. Sorry, and I was just about to say that you get told all of this amazing information from the comfort of your own seat.
Yeah, so you're in these leather, laxed out seats, and then above your head there's a speaker. And so our guy, Dean, is just chatting, good information. He's got one of those relaxing English voices as well.
He does.
Our first stop on the way through is a town called Winchester, which is really quaint and beautiful. Yeah. This is a running river here, which is moving quite quickly. It's just this peaceful little spot on the outside of the town here. We've just walked off a little strip.
Yes, and already I've got one amazing story time lined up.
Have you?
But that is going to go down outside the cathedral, which is actually one of the main, the famous attractions in Winchester.
So we've been dropped off right in the middle of town. I don't know if I actually mentioned that. And we've got, I think, an hour and 45 minutes to explore by ourselves. So we've just been briefed. Dean just gave us a whole bunch of information about all the different things, including the cathedral and that little walk that we were just on, like I said, and a couple of other things that we won't have time to tick off, sadly, but that's nice. We've just picked the few things that we want to see, and we just get to go and do it ourselves.
Okay, so the cool thing about this cathedral is that at one point Dean was telling us that there were actually 2 kings ruling at the same time, which It's
like,
pretty crazy.
unheard of.
It's pretty unheard of. And how it all went down was that the ruling king at the time was he was ill, and so he needing to appoint his 13-year-old son. So that all went down in back here. Crazy.
It is.
My story time wasn't very good.
No,
the next one will be better.
No, that's a good. I don't think that's ever existed before. But we have to go get some food.
Let's get coffee.
Thankfully, there's no real big arguments these days between historians and archaeologists about what happened. Because of Durrington Walls, some new bits have been added to Stonehenge, and there is a museum now. And the museum has a lot more facts around the entire timeline of Stonehenge, dating way back in 3000 BC. When you get to Stonehenge, the first thing you're going to notice are these very large sarsen stones. Now, the sarsen stones, just to give you an idea, weigh more than all of us, this bus, and all your luggage. Because a full bus, full luggage, and 16 passengers weighs 5.5 tons. And these sarsen stones weigh in excess of that. But when you look through the gaps of the sarsen stones, you'll see these very small little blue stones, as they're known.
We've made it to Stonehenge. It was only about an hour drive, not even that, 45 minutes.
45 minutes from Winchester. Yep.
And we had decent amount of good conversational history and information about so much on the way. It's not intense. I don't feel like I'm in class.
No, neither do I.
It's just being
a chat.
nicely. It's like he's literally having a conversation. Okay, so if we just do a quick recap, what are some of the things that you picked up that were you either didn't know or think were the most interesting?
It was kind of started to be built in 3000 BC, and it took 1,800 years.
So 5,000 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I didn't know was that it's actually an old burial ground.
No, I didn't know that either.
So they used to bury really important people there, and
it's the VIPs, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was described as the VIP section, and then to kind of mark that, that's why they put the stones around it.
Well, we're right here. Okay, there's so much more that we need to go into, but we're going to go inside the museum first. So this is how the stones were actually moved once they made it onto land, or once they've travelled across. And these bottom ones would all roll. The top ones obviously stay fixed in place, the stones are roped down, and then they pull them along as the wood rolls.
Should I stand next to it for scale?
Yeah, go stand next to it. Yeah, it might take a few people to pull that. This is just outside the museum now, and it's a little bit more of the hands-on and sort of stuff that you can actually get up and close and see, because the museum, while it's not massive, has got a huge amount of history in there. But we already picked up so much information from Dean on the way, we already felt like we were experts by the time we walked in. We're going to go and get the shuttle now and actually head up to the stones though, which we're so excited to actually see in person. This place is very efficiently run. So there's so much information around getting from the bottom up to this bit, and the shuttle, which is all free as part of the entry ticket, was pretty straightforward. Apparently, this place makes about £30 million. Is that a year? Is it a year? A year. So it's a lot, but it is a fascinating place to come to. And one of the main things that makes it so fascinating is that there's still so much mystery, even with all of the information that is in that museum and that we got picked up from Dean. There's still so much that's not known. And the biggest thing that is that's overarching over everything is just why. So
There's lots of theories, isn't there?
Lots of theories, like why was the burial site here? Why the stones? What was that for? And there were so many, we're growing up, there were stories around that it was aliens that did this and everything, but they have come such a long way, because they're still actually excavating today, which sort of shows how much work is still being done to try and understand more. Those mounds that we've seen, in fact, I can see, well, I can actually look out this way. I can see about 6 right now out in the distance. Only 30% of those have actually been dug up. And they've got enough out of the mounds that they're not digging up anymore because of just purely out of respect. So, yeah, apparently people come here. I can't say I'm one of them, but sometimes people come here apparently and they get like emotional. They can sort of feel the energy. Not necessarily my thing, but I can I can understand why. You know, there's something when you look at something and you just you can't even grasp and understand it. It's sort of like there's an emotion, I suppose, that can tie with it. So there's a loop right the way around here, which we've nearly completed. We're on our way back now. So we've had about an hour and a half here, and later on this evening, we're now heading back to the bus, and we've got a few hours. We're heading to Exeter, so that tomorrow we can start to go and head more towards the coast, apparently. Very nice room. Bit of a view. No, that wasn't me. Nice bed. Wow, look at the blue skies out here. Sun is just setting. Well, coming down. That is the end of day 1.
Day 1 was fun.
Wow. I am
really enjoyed that.
Seriously impressed with how that played out. Everything from like the guide, and we were just actually chatting to Dean now about his retention is just insane. It's so much better than ours.
I was like trying to see if he was reading off teleprompter or something. How does he remember all
Listen to what he has to say, and then I try and remember it to repeat on here, and I'm like, oh, I forgot the bit, and it's just like he just has everything.
Yeah.
Insane. Anyway, I feel like we've probably given him enough props, haven't we?
Yeah.
So Devon looks absolutely beautiful. We're in Exeter right now. That's where this hotel room is. I probably should have started with that as we walked in the door. We've got a lot more exploring to do in the next video for you, which is actually tomorrow for us, I suppose, and we will see you then. There is so much more cool stuff to come.
Mm-hmm. So thank you so much for watching.
Catch you in the comments. Bye.
Bye.
What do we do tomorrow? We don't really know what the plan is.
Tomorrow we're still in Exeter.
Yeah.